Welcome to Black Issues Forum. I'm Kenya Thompson. It's the holiday season and a lot of us are shopping online, but before you start buying or selling, there are some things to look out for. We've invited our cybersecurity and tech experts to help sort it through. Let's welcome to the show Devon Carter, founder of CarTech Consulting and Information Security Consulting firm that specializes in business security and solutions, and April Dawson, Associate Dean of Technology and Innovation, as well as a professor of law at North Carolina Central University. Welcome to the show.
Happy to be here.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I wanted to start off taking a look at some images that I pulled. I've experienced some of these situations myself. My mom has experienced some, our friends and family has, but these are screenshots, emails, text messages that some people get, right? So this first one, this is a real email that was sent to a Facebook Marketplace seller. This happened after a buyer expressed interest in an item that they were selling and, quote unquote, attempted to send the money via Zelle, but encountered an issue. So what I was told is what they actually did was try to deposit more money than the actual price of the product and then ask the seller to send back the excess when in reality they never received anything. I'd love to get your feedback. Let's pull up that image again, and I want to start off by you guys just telling me, Devon, starting first, what are some red flags that you're seeing in this email that people should be looking out for?
Well, the initial red flag for me would be the domain name of the email address, right? Zelle, and for that matter, Cash App or Venmo. They're not going to send any type of support emails from any free email services or anything like that. So that's the first red flag for me.
Yeah, April, what are you seeing in this?
So certainly a sense of urgency. So whenever you see, an email or something that's saying this is an important matter, you need to act very quickly. That's a sign as well that you need to just kind of slow down. So most of these scams happen very quickly, and the scammers know that they want people to be very emotional in how they react.
Yeah, good points. Devon, would Zelle send an email like this? So let's say it was actually from Zelle, we saw that domain. Would they send an email like this, though?
Likely not. Most of these companies, they're not going to send any type of email that is requesting you to do any type of financial transaction or request any type of sensitive information. That's just not how they operate.
And so some people may not use Zelle, though. They may use Cash App, they may use Venmo. Are those the same kind of thought process that a piece of communication like this would not be sent from them?
No, it's the same for all of those companies. They're very, very careful about what they send out. They want to be ensured that they can't or can avoid liability if they give wrong instructions or anything like that. So they're not going to request that type of information through email.
Yeah, and how safe is it to use these services? Because a lot of people, I'm assuming, are using them.
Well, for me, I think they're pretty safe. They do a great job from encryption, being careful of how they're sending data back and forth between the companies. They vetted out their processes for a very long time, and so they're pretty safe.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know because I use them too. April, the person who received this email said that in their Zelle account, it did look like there was a pending deposit of $500. How is that possible? And does that trap people sometimes?
Oh, it absolutely traps people because as you use it, so many of us use it, Zelle, Venmo. They're very convenient. As Devon mentioned, they are fairly safe. The issue is, of course, user error.
Yeah.
And we know how they work. They work, for the most part, instantaneously. And so if you see in your account that you've got these pending funds, your assumption is that the funds will be there, very soon.
Yeah.
But what the scammers do is they will send the funds from a either fake account or an account that doesn't have sufficient funds, so it shows up as pending, and people seeing that don't necessarily realize that.
Yeah.
So then you have people who are, sending the reimbursement, and those pending funds can be reversed.
And that's so sad. And a lot of times people don't even want to admit that this has happened because there's a shame associated there.
Yeah, the embarrassment and shame is one of the things that scammers count on, right? The more people that don't report, and actually the vast majority of scams are not reported, it means that they're able to be more and more successful with these scams. And we have to make sure that when we're dealing with our family, particularly our elderly community and the young community, that we let them know that everyone has been a victim of a scam or identity theft at some point, and there's no shame associated with it. But the only way that we can combat it is if we're open and honest about it.
Exactly. Let's take a look at the second image. It's a screen grab of a voicemail. And in this voice message, the caller alleges that they are from a tax and debt financial service looking to assist in eliminating debt and to give them a call back. Devon, what are your thoughts on this one?
Honestly, we know these types of services do actually exist in real life. However, most of them aren't cold calling for these types of things. When they leave these messages, their goal is to get you to call back and then try to quote unquote verify your information, which is when they will actually take your information. So my recommendation would be is, if you happen to find yourself in this situation, go online, search out and find reputable businesses to use these services, and that'll save you a lot of trouble. But I would stay away from the cold call type situation.
Yeah, and that's a little confusing to me though, right? Because a lot of folks say, don't take the call, but you can call back, right? And so us calling back and verifying information almost feels like, well, I initiated this, and so that's a bit confusing sometimes. April, when folks like this are calling, they're likely targeting folks that actually do have debt. And so how are they getting this information? And is that legal? And is that one of the ways that people fall prey to it because they're likely already dealing with debt?
Yeah, so, if you think about different demographics, so if you are targeting college students, for example, most college students have incurred some type of debt. And in fact, most, Americans do have some type of debt. So even if you're just playing the odds and you're sending these communications to everyone, the odds are that you're going to get, quite a few hits. The other things that scammers do is they will hunt through people's discarded mail. And so if you've got some mail and you're not shredding information that you receive, your credit card statements could be in there. So people have to be really cautious about information that they don't secure themselves.
Indeed. I want to pull up this next image. It's one that I personally have received a few times. It appears to be a text message from a postal service about a package delivery with an incorrect address, so delivery has been suspended. And I don't know about you, but in the days of Amazon ordering and delivery, it's fair to assume that a lot of people, especially right now, are getting a lot of packages on a daily basis. And for me, it's alarming to think that I might not get my package. So why are they doing this? I'm still trying to figure out, how are they getting, what is the point? What's the actual scam here in these postal text messages? April, I'll go to you first.
Yes. So, and to your point, right, we're all ordering online, we're all receiving packages. And again, it's about playing the odds. And if they have a number and that number has been verified as being an actual working number, it is, when we're thinking about computer technology and AI, it is so easy to have these bots run and send these text messages. And again, they are just playing the odds. And if you click on the links, then oftentimes there will be malware that's downloaded on your phone, and they're able to capture additional information. So these scammers, the more information they have, the more successful the scams will be.
Yeah. Devon, what is the safest way to follow up on this if you're not quite sure if it's fake or real?
Well, in this particular instance, it's just kind of understand how how life works, right? The post office is typically not going to contact you in this way. In fact, they're not. It's generally going to be through one of those little post-it messages they put on your mailbox, on your door, and things like that. So basically, when you see these types of messages, just take a deep breath, think about it for a second, and I think you'll come to the right decision there.
Yeah, I think it's very important to emphasize not to click the OK or to the resolve this, or not to click anything. I tell my mom that all the time, do not touch it. So just close it out. All right, let's pull up this next image. It's an email screenshot. It's from my personal email. I received it literally just the other day, and it's thanking me for my order. And it has an attachment that I'm assuming that is supposed to be my confirmation or my receipt. I knew that this was a fake. I knew not to open the attachment, but what are some things that alert someone that this might be a fraudulent email, Devon?
Again, check that domain name. right? Official businesses are not using the free email services like Gmail or Yahoo or Hotmail and what have you. So really look at that domain. Also, again, if you're seeing anything where it's trying to force you to do something quickly or act with any level of urgency, that should be a red flag, right? Because there's no need for that at this point. So yeah, those are the big things that I would look at first.
Yeah. April, anything to add with that email?
Yeah, so, oftentimes with these emails, the grammar's not quite right, the punctuation isn't quite right, and those have been red flags to alert people if you're, reading carefully.
Yeah.
I will say because of AI, generative AI, and the ability to have, text written very well with punctuation correct, some of the grammar and punctuation issues we have been seeing, we probably won't be seeing as much of them. So we still need to look, but we can't. That won't always be a sign of a fraudulent email.
Yeah. Yeah, in that email, I noticed spacing was off, so that was an indicator to me. Last image here, my mom's called me with this one a few times. iPhone or any phone, really, that pops up this message claiming that the phone has been infected with a virus, 6 to be specific in this one, and prompts the user to follow instructions for removal. Devon, can viruses be downloaded onto your phone this way? What are we dealing with?
Oh, absolutely. It's a pretty old trick at this point, trying to get you to click on the message to go send you to a website to either, download additional malware or try to force you into purchasing something to so-called remove the malware. That's pretty normal occurrence at this point. The thing you want to remember is when you see these things, don't click on it. Right? Try to get off of that screen, close the tab, reboot your device, remove any new types of technology that you've added to the device.
Indeed. Well, before we move on to the next block, I wanted to share a funny but very real clip. It's a phone call scammer who unknowingly called a police officer. Take a listen.
Can you verify me your home address?
No, I will not.
I'm sorry?
No, I'm not going to give you my address. If you have my file on me, you should know what my address is.
Miss Stephen, you need to understand one thing over here, that I'm trying to cooperate with you on the recorded line, and even you need to cooperate with me. Recent mailing address?
My current address is 205 Saunders, Saunders Street in Apex, North Carolina.
Want me to read out the complete information to you about the allegations from which you can... Now, there are legal enforcement agencies involved in this case, so before we go ahead and give out the complete information to you, I need you to verify me with the last 4-digit number of your social security so I can confirm that the details are given to the right person.
I'm not going to confirm my social security number with you.
Ms. Stephen, I'm not asking you to confirm your social security number. Well, I'm asking you just to verify me with the last 4 digits of your social security so I can confirm that the details are given to the right person.
I'm not going to do that.
Social Security Administration and law enforcement agencies has found 25 fraudulent bank accounts opened and used fraudulently using your social security number to commit a fraud of more than $10 million. This account
$10 million. So that was, again, the caller did not realize they were calling Apex Police Department. Devon, I'd love to hear your feedback. 25 fraudulent cases, trying to get her information. Do people fall prey to this?
Unfortunately, some people do. The thing to remember is, the tone, calling with urgency. I think the police officer, obviously, she's trained and skilled in this. She understands to, not give out that type of information. So that's the lesson that we need to learn. If they're asking you to provide information to verify, no, you ask them. You give me what you have, and we'll see if you're on target. So.
Yeah. Well, I think that this first segment just showed that there are a lot of things that can look to be deceiving, but make sure that you check the spellings, check all the domains, and don't click on anything, I think is what we've learned in that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.